Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Her Side of the Ruck. I'm Tash.
I'm Bernice.
And we're not pundits.
We're just two women who know what a ruck is.
Well, final day in Cape Town. Cry!
Yeah.
It's been such a good trip. And yeah, the game yesterday didn't go in the favour of Tigers, but I'm super proud of the boys. We get a losing bonus point, drop into the Challenge Cup. I think it's a competition that Leicester really could kick on and win. They could probably do what Bath Rugby did last year, maybe not the triple, although that would be amazing if they did. But I definitely think the Challenge Cup is something that they could do really well on. So in this episode, we'll talk about the DHL Stormers facing Leicester Tigers in round 4. Hopefully the Stormers may have a home round of 16 match, but we will soon find out after Sunday's fixtures. And we'll talk about our trip to Cape Town and give some of our recommendations if you find yourself here. So let's get into it. How did you find yesterday?
Yeah, I think yesterday went better for me than for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall yesterday's experience was just so nice.
Yeah.
I think there were 20,000 people.
It was a good atmosphere.
So good atmosphere, good game. In the beginning there were a lot of knock-ons and a lot of handling errors, a lot of mistakes.
Yes.
I
Slow
felt like,
at times.
Yeah, very slow. I felt like Leicester exploited the spaces in the Stormers' defence quite a lot, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
And I think they did pretty well. I'm also happy because I did say that Evan Roos will score a try. I think he scored one or two.
He scored first try.
Yeah.
We met somebody who predicted that Evan Roos would score the opening try when we were walking around. We were doing a couple of interviews with different people, and I think this was the same couple who hadn't missed a Stormers game since 2007. You don't know who you're ever going to meet at rugby matches, do you?
Yeah, and he also said that, so he had a jersey on that said 199, and he watched 199 matches at Newlands. So before the home of the Stormers was the DHL Stadium, it was Newlands. And he watched 199 games at Newlands, and that's
incredible.
Just insane. Like, they are really
truly
big
dedicated
Stormers
people.
supporters. They said if you go and Google Stormers supporter house or biggest fan house of the Stormers, they'll pop up. So I don't know if you want to give that a go and Google that, but it was really amazing meeting them and hearing all the stories. Like, you can see they're really passionate about Stormers rugby.
Also met some rugby league fans, and I noticed this from when I'd lived in Leeds, to the northeast of England. There's a town nearby called Castleford, and they have a rugby league team called Castleford Tigers. And I noticed their logos, and I was like, oh, I'll go up to them and say hi. I said, are you league fans? And they were like, yeah. And I went, are you here to support Leicester? They were like, yeah. Tigers, wherever we go. I was like, I like it.
Sweet.
They were really nice with the time that they gave us, and they come back to Cape Town basically every year. I think they said it's like 13 times.
15 years in a row or something.
That they were coming back.
Yeah,
definitely in the mid-teens. So you don't know who you meet on trips like this, and who you just speak to people. And I think that's something that I think we can both take away from this trip. We mentioned that we've got the podcast, that we've got this platform, which we're very grateful for all of you engaging with us on this channel, and it's great to have you with us. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. But when you just tell people that you've got a pod, you've got a platform, that you love rugby, you just don't know who you'll meet. So let's talk about the rugby game. You said it was a little bit clunky. I totally agree with that sentiment. I don't think Billy Searle had his best game, and I think we were lucky enough to go to the press conference after the match, and Jeff Parling spoke very candidly about that the boys, it felt bitterly disappointing, and he basically went, this means a lot to them, this competition means a lot, and playing in Europe with the South Africans coming in, it's still technically the European competition, but more, I guess, or like worldwide competition now, just ignoring Australia, New Zealand and Japan, I suppose. So, but it means a lot to them, and okay, he didn't have the best kicking game per se, but I thought his distribution off the ball was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think, as I mentioned in the first half of the episode, I thought that they exploited spaces really well, and there was also a lot more kicking than I anticipated.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I really did not expect that.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I think I asked a question in the press conference to Jeff about George Pearson, who is a young fullback for Tigers. I think he's got under 20s caps for England. And I said, isn't it always a team effort, isn't it? But for me, he was one of the standout performers in terms of how he gathered the ball in the air. And I went, is that something that the two lads are learning off each other, that George Pearson's learning under Freddie Stewart, because Freddie's kind of come into popularity both with England, and obviously he's a starting fullback for Tigers pretty much 9 times out of 10. But he's come in and out of fashion and favour for the England jersey. But now I think he's finding himself in a good position, given George Furbank has been injured, hasn't necessarily got selected. So having a mentor almost to teach you how to be under the high ball, I think he really showed his skill yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the only way you're going to learn, right? Yeah, I think that's the only way that you will learn. But yeah, I think for Leicester, like Ye said, they might not have walked away with the win, but I think this is still a great result for them.
6 point loss.
They had, 6 point loss. We also heard a lot more information about
the travel.
Yeah. So apparently they were split into, so Leicester was split into 3 groups, and they had like what, a 51-hour travel time. Like
there was an electrical
crazy,
fault on the plane. Yeah,
and
they had to go via Joburg instead of direct to Cape Town. Yeah.
And Coach Jeff said he was raked from the traveling, so he can't even imagine what the players must have felt like. He also said some of the players fell ill on Friday.
Will Hurd in particular, who I thought had a phenomenal game actually yesterday in terms of his ball carrying.
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of things that played a role in Leicester's performance, 100%. But I think despite all of the travelling, despite everything that could have affected their performance negatively, I think they still performed very well, and they can go home very proudly. And I think it was a tight match for most of the game,
my heart.
It was more stressful, I think, than both of us anticipated. We said the whole time that we really wanted a close match, but I think it was too tight for our liking at times.
Way too tight. Like the halftime score 15-14, and then for a good chunk of the second half it was 22-21. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about the Stormers, because we've spoken a lot about Leicester. Sasha is a big fan favourite, and understandably so, because I think he comes across really well in the media. I thought he spoke very well in terms of his relationship with John Dobson in the press conference, and he is such a great kicker in terms of he sees the space out wide, he sees where the space is through the defence, and using his back line to chase it and score. And okay, we didn't have loads of tries coming off that attacking play necessarily, but it definitely gained a lot of territory. And okay, he went off for a yellow card, but still, like, Stormers marched on and they scored with 14 men on the field.
Yeah, I think that is also one thing that was mentioned by Leicester's captain in the press conference, where they said that the Stormers performed better when they had 14 men on the field compared to Leicester when they had 14 men. So I think that's great. And the Stormers, they managed to score a try when there were only 14 men on the field. They defended well, so they did everything right, I think, when they were down to 14 men. But I think a player that really stood out for me, Sasha was good. I think Evan Roos had a fairly good game. There was just that one knock on that I can remember from him, but besides that, I felt like
overall he had a good
game.
Really good
was
game.
Very good game. But Imad Khan, like, that kid is insane, if I can say it like that. He is a fairly young player, and he's now only given chance to like really come into the group, whether it is on the bench or to start. I think he's made a huge difference in the second half as well in terms of the Stormers' attack. And Sasha also mentioned last night in the press conference that he is an amazing person to work with and to play rugby with. But I felt Imad Khan was outstanding.
100%. I met him on the flight over here. He was so lovely, and I think that's something that I've noticed from my whole experience at the Stormers. The culture that they've got in the club, they're getting it right. Really, really right in terms of this development into 2029, building that depth. That's something John Dobson has spoken about very openly and is very honest about how he wants to build the club. And I also think players who are given an opportunity by a coach when they're young and really take it and thrive, that respect goes a long way in their career, whether they represent their country at international level or whether they move on to a different club in future years. But it's often the case that there's a lot of loyalty that's established by giving someone their break, so to speak. But John Dobson also spoke about how honest he was that Khan needed a little bit of work before this season, but he's put in that work and he's really being a standout performer. I
think John Dobson, someone used the word that John Dobson used in previous press conferences, that Imad Khan was under construction. But I like that. I like that terminology.
It's
very great word to describe a player that still, needs a little bit of work, but he's getting there. And I think it just goes to show that you shouldn't select a player maybe too early in his career, because that can either make or break it. But I think the way that John Dobson has been doing it has been amazing. And yeah, I think Imad Khan has really been great for the Stormers. And yeah, I think the Stormers have had a great season. Just
they're
overall.
a team flying high at the minute.
And we're not talking about the Quins game. And they were also very open about it. John Dobson was open about it. Some of the players were open about it with Tash, and they just said, it was a poor performance. And I think John Dobson also mentioned in his press conference that it was a poor performance from them. That's obviously not how they would want to perform. But I think the Stormers take a lot of pride in playing at home. So I think their focus was more on the game of yesterday compared to the game against Quins. And I think that's also the only way that you're going to build squad depth, or to see kind of how you would want your perfect squad or your team to look like, is giving players chances in different matches. We've spoken about the travelling. The travelling is extensive and it is really tough. So you can't play your stronger side every week in and week out.
You've got to rotate. You have to.
So I think he's been doing it pretty well. It wasn't a great result. John Dobson also mentioned that he at least wants 1 point from the Harlequins match, but I think the Stormers managed well during the week to kind of turn things around for themselves, and they have a big match coming up this weekend against the Sharks. It's going to be good.
That's a big one you got your eyes on for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with how the Stormers are building, the culture that they have in the club. And I have to say a big shout out to Kaylin, who works in the commercial team at the Stormers. Thank you so much to her for getting us into the press conference. I got to see the Leicester boys run out. We watched the Stormers boys run out. That was
amazing.
A really special moment. We also got to meet some fantastic people at this match, and despite the scoreline, I think the first 10 minutes after full time...
Yeah, she was not doing very well.
No, I did. I had to take... it means a lot to me, and it's so hard as well when you think that your team is in like when you know your team can win and you really believe in your team. It's like, this is what being a supporter means to me, and we discussed it the other day. There's a key distinction between what a fan is and what a supporter is. A fan is somebody who will watch their team and say they love their team but are happy to bash them online. That's not something that we ever want to do. Like, we love our teams, we know they're not perfect, but they'll always try and be better than maybe a performance they put out on the field. And that's what our supporters' view often is, okay, we didn't win, but I still love this team. I'm proud of the boys. We've got things that we can learn and improve on. So many takeaways for Leicester from this. I think this is their first match out in Cape Town. Tigers have played the Stormers a lot at Matterley Woodswelford Road, but not in Cape Town. So this is a lot of a first experience for a lot of young players in that squad, but also a first experience for many fans. And I'd like to say that a lot of us, despite the scoreline, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of Leicester fans at the match.
We did.
So nice to meet everyone, and everyone was super friendly, and it's almost like a sense of home when you see other Leicester fans. So it was amazing. We sat next to fans that we met prior to the match.
Yes,
so
we did.
Amazing. Tash had a whole little fan base.
Yeah, we had a little clan. We had a little Tigers clan, which was really good.
So I think that was obviously very nice for you. But yeah, I'd say like the whole match day experience itself was nice. I think it is different, obviously, if your team do win, and I think it makes the experience a little bit nicer or whatever. But yeah, I'd say it was still a nice experience.
Well, we had a great time. I think in terms of, I'll be quite candid about the cost of it. Flying out here is expensive from the UK. I'm not going to deny that at all. And whichever way you try and do it, you are minimum going to be spending £600, probably more, to fly out here. Is it worth it if you have the money? 1000%. Because for us, for Brits, like, the cost of living here, it's really quite low. So you can have really nice meals. Like, I think these 2 pints of beer cost like £5. And there's barely many places in the UK now you can get a pint of Guinness for £5. So in that sense, it's a bargain. Food here is amazing. If you're a wine drinker, perfect place to come. Like, we went to a lot of wine farms in the week leading up to this game. So I've loved this from a rugby fan perspective, and also just generally tourism. So, but the game tickets, we were right at the front, and it cost 2 tickets near the halfway line for under £30. So I don't know many other Prem clubs that can do that. You probably can get it in the Champ, or at women's games in England and wider in the UK, but not in terms of the Gallagher Prem. So if you want an expensive travel experience but a slightly cheaper experience when you're here, this is definitely one of the places to come, and I couldn't recommend it more. Can I just mention something about the press conference?
Yeah, please do.
First of all, John Dobson. He's so funny.
I love him.
He was cracking jokes left, right, and centre. You can tell he's a really personable guy, and why the players are behind him as a leader, because he comes across so well and a very confident gentleman.
Yeah.
My other one would be, and we're two women have a rugby platform, and it's great that people want to listen to female voices talking about rugby, right? But I looked at that room, and it's like basically everywhere. There are no female journalists working in sport. We were two of the only women in that room at this press conference. So if you're watching this and you have a daughter or a sister or a young woman in your life who's aspiring to be in sport, don't ever let feeling like you're the only woman in the room phase you, because we've gone through that quite a lot. So many women we know in this industry have also done that, and that's something that I feel very passionate about. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know in the comments, because we'd be happy to answer them. But generally, I had a great experience, apart from we got rained on.
Oh.
It was beautiful and sunny.
We were applying
SPF all over. I was like, I can't get burnt again. We had an Irish couple next to us who were also applying SPF. And then probably about 65 minutes, the heavens opened.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
All that hairstyling for nothing.
Yeah, I think it was pretty bad. I don't know. Yeah, I know people usually say Cape Town is 4 seasons in one day, but the sun was shining, it was very hot.
Not forecast rain.
Yeah. And then second of all, we felt little drops on our skin, but it was
we were like, it's fine.
Yeah, we were like, okay, no, it's fine, we'll just get up and like go somewhere where it's enclosed. As we got up, it started pouring, so everyone got up. So we were literally just standing in the aisle on the stairs.
It's like a roadblock, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Getting soaked, basically.
And then guess what? Obviously everyone turned to me and said, why did you bring your English weather here? And I was like, I don't want it here. I'm going back to it. Like, I've already looked at the forecast for the weekend and it's supposed to rain.
Like when I got upstairs, I was like, I can't find Natasha. So I was screaming, Natasha. And then finally found her. I was like, Tash brought her UK weather here, what are you doing?
Oh well. It was good for basically the entire day, apart from that final 15 minutes. I think if I ever book tickets again to go to the DHL Stadium, I'm going to book them under the cover just to be safe.
Yeah, but I mean, it was very unexpected, so I don't blame any of. We had 4 jackets in the car, didn't bring any.
Because we didn't think we needed them.
And yeah, we were sat in the press conference. Tash asked Jeff a lot of questions. It was great.
Of course,
but towards the end of the press conference, I could really feel like I was shivering.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was it was very bad. We were standing there and like, it was bad.
Be vigilant, whether it's sun, rain, whatever it may be.
Even if the sun was shining, just bring a jacket with. It might rain.
Bring a jacket.
You never know.
And not an umbrella, because apparently it's really windy here as well. It was fine yesterday, to be fair.
Don't bring an umbrella.
But don't bring an umbrella, because you'll be
like that.
You'll be going away. Should we talk about our week?
Yeah. How was it?
I loved it.
How was Cape Town?
I loved it. I've been told by a lot of South Africans that I've worked with in my career, specifically Kyle Stain, who's from Stellenbosch, who's a Glasgow Warriors captain. When I was working at the club, he said, Tash, at some point in your life you have to go to Stellenbosch. And I just went, I don't really, unless I'm working with a rugby team, I don't really have much of a reason to go to South Africa unless I know someone out there. And also I think with the nuances with the culture and stuff, and you hear so many different things about social media, that it's like, I don't know who to trust. But Stelli's was amazing. The best steak I think I've ever had in my entire life. And I come from a family of steak lovers. Some of the best red wine I've ever had, although I'm still coming out of the transition of drinking like vinegar-esque wine, white red wine from university, and then like the coffee's great, love the coffee, and the food, the staff, like the hospitality here has been incredible. I would say it's a different way of like tipping and writing the check. So in the UK, you would just like leave money on the table or add a tip, as here you have to write down like what number you want to pay. So you always have to pay the full amount of the bill, but if you want to add a tip on, you just change the number from the bill. So if you want to add your own percentage, you typically, well, you were doing all the calculations, which I appreciated. Maths is not my favourite subject in the world, but I've loved it here. I think best food, Fat Butcher.
Amazing.
That was amazing. I also tried this maple cinnamon sago, which was
my
like
goodness.
vanilla custard, kind of a rice puddingy texture. So I know that's not for everybody, but it was amazing. And then I couldn't eat it all, so you had a little bit, and I think you shared the same opinion.
Yeah, it was amazing. I've been to Fat Butcher before, but yeah, I think I really wanted to take Tash there because it's a whole experience.
Yeah.
So it's not just dining and having your steak. It's really
It's a gentle
experience.
meal. Yeah.
So they will usually bring a dish, so it's usually an appetizer that's complimentary from the chef, and this time we had beef curry. So I am someone that quite likes spicy food and like very, very hot foods. Tash does not, so they brought us like a small beef curry, and it was amazing. Like it was just
so
very
good.
flavorful, so it
Yeah.
wasn't too spicy for Tash. I really enjoyed the flavors of it, and yeah, I think the steaks were amazing, the pudding was amazing.
Yeah.
So that's definitely also always at the top of my list when I come to Cape Town. That's actually our New Year's tradition. So every year on New Year's Day, we visit the Fat Butcher and like we just kick off the year with an amazing steak, an amazing experience.
As you should. Start the new year in the right way. I think here as well, let's give a shout out to.
Yeah, Kaapstad House.
This is the third time we've come here. We've had chicken schnitzel twice.
Yeah.
Delicious, by the way. We split the G here. Well, I drank too much. You basically split the G, which is good.
I split the G, not basically.
I'm not sure.
I split the G.
Look, we'll be posting it out on our TikTok soon.
No,
So
I split the
go
G.
down below, have a look, go on our TikTok page, and give your opinion if Bernice actually did split the G, because I think it is subjective. It's all right. South Africa won most of the things. You split the G better than I did.
Yeah, like
and
I
the Stormers won.
most of the things on this trip. And
Apart from the beer chugging. Brits, I've made you guys proud. Like
that was
my throat. It's an open canal for beer. No, I'm kidding.
I'll give it that one, but it's fine because Stormers won. I won splitting the G, and I feel very proud about that because I just feel like a Brit can't do it and I can. Yeah, very proud of myself.
If you're Irish, let us know if you prefer a South African trying to split the G or a Brit. I feel like you might say a Safa, but I don't know. So let us know down below.
I mean, also go have a look on Instagram and you'll see Tash had she made a whole bubble bath from.
I made a shandy. I made a lager shandy. And
It
the
was a
lemonade
bubble
bubbled
bath.
up a little bit. Right. Anyway, top 3 places that we went to on this trip.
You go first.
Fat Butcher. I'm a big foodie. Delicious. In terms of like exchange rate, value for money. My fillet steak cost £13. Name me a place in the UK where you can buy a fillet steak for £13, either in a supermarket or a restaurant. Not many places, so I was having a field day at Fat Butcher.
Yeah.
Second one, the famous Gulf of Wine Farm.
Ernie Alves.
Ernie Alves. That was great. Shout out to our waiter who was called, I can't remember his name. Can you remember his name?
No.
He was a really nice gentleman. If you somehow find yourself on our channel, thank you so much for an excellent time. We had a great time. I did get burnt really badly, but that was my own fault. So the UV is really high here. So even if you think you won't burn, just apply SPF, because I learned the hard way. You can't see it because I'm hiding it, okay? And then I have to obviously say the rugby as my other experience. Like I'm saying the rugby would always come top because that's initially why we booked this trip. It was to meet up with each other, to watch the rugby. But look, I cannot say that the wine and the food wasn't also amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I have to agree with you on all of those, and we've had this conversation about what we really liked from this trip and what were our favorites, and mine is actually exactly the top 3, but I'm going to change mine a bit so that it's not exactly the same. But I think Fat Butcher is first for me as well, just because, as I've mentioned, it's a whole experience. So you don't just go have your stay, go home. Like, it's really a whole experience, and they put in so much effort. I think the owner or the manager even came
over
us.
and she had a chat. Yeah, it's really nice.
Talked to us, and she made sure everything was fine, and she recommended some sauce that was on the table. It was amazing.
Amazing barbecue.
Yeah, so if you ever visit Stellenbosch or South Africa, like, that is definitely a must visit.
100%.
And then I think second for me was, no, I'm just doing what you're doing. But it was really nice. Like, I think to me, I'm going to combine the two and just say Babylon Storen and Ernie Owls, because we did it on the same day.
They were both incredible.
And I think Babylon Storen is also one of those wine farms that is a must visit, and it's actually like a whole day outing. So if you're planning on having lunch there, you can have lunch there, and
wine tastings.
Tash and I just tasted
Desserts.
some of the like olive oil and some of the drinks that they have to offer. So they have this rooibos tea that Tash drank. I drank, I think, the honeybush one, which was amazing. So you can do tastings, but you can also buy gifts on the farm.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice. It's not just a wine farm, it's really a whole day experience. There's so much to do and so much to see.
It epitomises the farm to table experience.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think lastly, obviously, the rugby.
Yeah.
I think to me what was the highlight was Tash and I both love rugby so much. We're both very passionate about it, and that's obviously why we started First Side of the Ruck. But I think mainly just because, like, we had the privilege of watching a live match together, and like that's something that we wanted to do for so long. Or just, we always just said, like, we wonder how it would be if we watch rugby together, because we watch rugby in the same way. Like, we both just support
Very
our
passionate.
teams through and through. Like, doesn't matter who's around us and what stadium we are at. Like, we are just very passionate supporters of our team. While my team's not the Stormers, but
It was the South African team of the day.
yeah, exactly.
We bought ourselves penguin bracelets from
matching
Boulders
penguin
Beach.
bracelets.
Another experience that I'm not talking about. Boulders Beach, amazing. If you like penguins, worth it. So worth it. I can't believe it's over.
Me neither.
It's quite sad, actually.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting my glasses on, so you guys can't see me crying.
Yeah, let's just, before we all get teary eyes, this has been an amazing experience, and one that I don't care how expensive it was, because money will come and go, but memories last forever. And
100%.
this has been amazing. I am starting to tear up under my sunglasses now, so they're not coming back off now. If you're going to go travel the world and pick a sport to travel the world with, pick rugby, because we did.
Great advice.
And it's the best experience, the best thing I could ever have asked for and chosen. 16-year-old me putting on the Leicester shirt for the first time would never have believed that nearly a decade later that she'd be sat here with a beautiful woman from Pretoria after doing a women's leadership program and thinking we would do a podcast.
Oh my goodness.
That's kind of mental.
Yeah.
So say yes to things, you know?
Yeah. I can't cry on social media, so we might have to cut.
We might have to cut the episode now. Guys, thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to the venue for letting us film here. Greatly appreciated. And again to Kaylin at the Stormers for getting us in to the press conference and sorting out access to a couple of players, which was also an amazing experience. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Her Side of the Ruck. This is the final time we're going to say signing off from Cape Town. We'll see you back when I'm in the UK. And Bernice is still an essay. See you later. Bye.